Hello everyone, this is Udalita from TechSpark, bringing you another session covering data engineering Q&A. And in today's session, we're going to discuss how to automate Glue ETL jobs. In the previous session, we have seen how to write Glue ETL scripts using dynamic frames, as well as converting the same into Spark data frames. In today's session, we're going to try to run manually ETL jobs, the Glue ETL jobs, along with triggering the same with the help of AWS Lambda. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with my brief introduction. I have been working in data engineering domain for almost 9 years with various projects and involved in creating data pipelines for several clients. I also train candidates in this field to help them build an ability profile with our comprehensive course covering all the necessary topics of data engineering. So before getting into automating the ETL jobs in Glue, we need to understand how a Lambda works. So there are two ways basically way we can automate the Glue ETL jobs. One is we can schedule them, meaning we can assign the jobs to run at a certain point of time in a day or a week or a month. So that is one way we can do it. And the other one is if we want some sort of an event-based trigger. Event-based trigger as in suppose there is a project or there is an architecture where day to day or in some regular manner the files are coming in the AWS S3. And whenever the files are coming into the S3 bucket, I need to run my glue trigger jobs using those files. So we can handle these kind of scenarios as well to run our glue jobs. And we will take the help of AWS Lambda in order to trigger those event-based notifications. So what is AWS Lambda? It's a serverless computing service that automatically runs code in response to events without requiring you to manage the underlying infrastructure. So much like AWS Glue, Lambda is also a serverless architecture, meaning it doesn't require to set up any server or host or maintain the same. In case of EMR, we have seen that we have to log into the EMR console or we have to log into the putty cluster and then we can run our jobs or deploy any scripts. Whereas for AWS Glue or AWS Lambda, we can provision our scripts over there without having to maintain or set up any sort of extra server. So today's session is going to be majorly uh, practical and lab oriented. So there's not much of theory involved. So I'm just gonna head back to my AWS console now. So currently I'm in Amazon S3. Also, I have my Glue as well open. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna start or I'm gonna create a Glue job. So I will not today take the help of the notebook. Instead, I will click on the script editor and then I will create a script. So by default, it is Spark. I can use the Python shell as well, but since I'm going to be running a Spark job, so I will use the Spark and I will do a start fresh. I can upload a script as well, but I will create a script from here. So by default, you see these packages are already populated or it is already given, right? So you can start writing your job over here. I already have prepared my script in my local. Let me just, okay. So this is the script that I've written. So I'm going to be running this one into AWS Glue. So if you just leave the upper part, that is simply importing the packages. So let me just walk you through the code over here. So first I'm creating a Spark session, sorry, a Spark context using the PySpark library. And then I have to use the glue context, right? For any glue job, glue context should be there. Okay. Then using the glue context, I'm again creating a Spark session and then creating the job using the same glue context. Okay, mind it over here that I am taking these system arguments. System arguments meaning that whenever I'll be running my scripts, I'll be passing some parameters and I'll be using those parameters as well in my script. So you can see by default job name will always be there. Job name is the first argument or it is the zeroth argument. Then if you want to add some more arguments or parameters, you can do it. You can give some customized name. Like for example, I want to read the file from the specified input path, whatever I'm going to be passing through the script using as an argument. Okay, so this is my first argument. This is going to be staying there by default job name, but this I have to pass the input path. So if you look at over here, so I'm creating a dynamic frame by reading the data from S3. Okay, so what is the path? The path is nothing but the arguments that I'm passing in as the input path. All right. So if you remember in the previous session when I was using the notebook, I was creating a dynamic frame from the Glue data catalog. Okay. But over here, I'm using the create dynamic frame from options, not from catalog. Had I been using the from catalog, in that case, I would be putting the database name and the table name. But I'm going to be using the raw S3 file in order to create the data frame. So the connection type, I put it S3. Format, I've put it ORC because I'm going to be reading one ORC file from a certain path. And then I'm going to be using the path as whatever I'm passing as an argument, and the recursive meaning whatever is inside. If there is any subfolder as well, then in that case it should enter the subfolder and read the file from there as well. Okay, so once my dynamic frame is created, I am creating another dynamic frame, which is dyf2, by applying some filter. So what is the filter? If you remember in the previous session, I was working with the EV population data, right? There were some columns, and one of the columns were electric trains. So what I'm doing is that I'm simply using the DYF frame, that would be my input dynamic frame. And then the filter that I'm passing is the electric range should be greater than 30. Okay, that is the only filter I'm applying. And afterwards, I am converting these to a Spark data frame. And then I'm using the order by clause, the order by statement, that too in a descending fashion by model. So basically, I just want to see the top 10 latest models that were recently launched. Okay, there's the criteria that those models or those cars should have the electric range greater than 30. Okay, so this is my simple script. I can write whatever I want. I can write a full Spark job if I want. That's not the problem. So I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to paste in this script editor. Okay, so this is my script. It is ready. Now I have to fill in some details, right? So what's going to be the first detail is that I have to provide a name. So I'm going to be provide a name, say text form test job. This is going to be my job name. I have to pick an IAM role, and this is very crucial. So by default, this is already given to me, the Glue service role. I didn't have to prepare one. So I will use this one only. And then the type is again the Spark. It's not a streaming job, it's just a batch job. Rest, I will keep it as it is. The number of workers, I don't need this many. I'll just put 2. Right. And now coming to advanced properties. So I'll just keep all this as it is. So I'm gonna hit the maximum concurrency to 3. So basically, if already one job is running and I want to run parallel job, in that case, this job, like 3 parallel runs would be permitted over here instead of 1. Okay. And so since if you remember, if you see my code over here, I'm using argument, right? Command line argument. That is the input part. So I have to provide this one as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put job parameters over here, and so this is gonna be my key, or the I mean the argument name through which I will be getting the value. You find it that you always have to put a double hyphen every time you're putting the job parameters as a key value pair. And the second one is the value. So the value is nothing but from where I'll be reading the file, right? So for S3 buckets, I'll be reading the file from the S3 bucket. So I will simply go to my bucket, and the file that I'll be reading from is here, EV population data ORC. So this is the snappy ORC file that I'll be reading. So let me just copy this one. Copy its URL and put it over here. Right. So I have added the job parameters. Rest is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save the job. So the job has been successfully updated. So now what I have to do, I'm going to be running it manually. So first I'm going to be running it manually. Second, I'm going to run it using Lambda trigger. Okay, let's just run this job, and it should show me the top 10 model year, the top 10 models based on the latest years, and with the electric range greater than 30. Okay, let me just run this one. And if I click on the runs, it will show me the job runs. Okay, so this is the first one. It is running, it's showing. If I click on this refresh button, it will keep on showing me the latest data. So it's just running. It may take some time. We just have to wait for it. Okay, so now my job is succeeded. Now to look at the output, what I have to do is simply click on view details, and then you can see the continuous logs are over here, right? So if you want the specific output logs, you can just click on it, and it will redirect you to the CloudWatch service. So CloudWatch is a service which basically monitors all the job runs that are going on in the AWS services, and it creates different log groups. Inside the log groups, you'd see log streams. So each and every time you run the job, there will be new log streams, and if you just click on it, you can see the logs from here. So if I just expand this, you can see this is the final result that I'm showing, right? So you can see the latest years are come up, okay, and the electric range are also greater than 30. So it's only showing top 10 rows. If you remember, my script is only showing the 10 only, because by default the show command, it shows or it displays only 20 records. But now since I put 10, so only 10 records have been displayed. Okay, so this is one way of running it. Now my job is completed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the same job using run the same job using Lambda. Okay, so okay, let me just copy the job name because that would be required when I'll be creating the Lambda trigger, and then I will over here go to AWS Lambda. So this is how the Lambda interface shows. I can run any function, or I can provision any script using any sort of programming language. You can see the Java, Python, Ruby, .NET, those are already available. So first I have to create a function. I will just click on the create function and author from scratch. I will give this as Lambda Glue Trigger. So this would be my function name. The runtime would be Python. I'll be using the Python in order to run the script, and then anything else. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Create a new role, basic Lambda, use existing role. Let me see if I do have a service role Lambda trigger glue job role. I think this already has the, let me just click on this IAM role and show you why did I pick this one, because I have already created this IAM role. And if you remember in the very AWS first, the very first session covering the AWS, I told you about the IAM policies and everything. So whenever you create a role, some policies will be attached, right? So in this role, that is the trigger glue job role, this policy, AWS Glue Console Full Access, is required. Otherwise, your Lambda won't be able to run the or trigger the glue jobs, right? So this is the role that I picked, and now I'm going to create the function. Now over here, I have to do my coding. Okay, so if I had to trigger the AWS Glue job, then in that case, over here I have to write my custom logic. So first, I need a Boto3 package. Boto3 package is something which will help Python to connect with any AWS service. And the way it connects is very simple. It's very easy to understand. All you have to do is just create a client session. For example, I'm gonna be creating a Glue session, and if I just type Boto3 client glue, then it will automatically create a glue client for me. Okay, so the next would be that I want to trigger a glue job, right? To trigger a glue job, all you have to do is this: you have to call in the method start job run using the session or using the client session, right? So whenever you're calling the Boto3 client glue, so this is a glue client that is being created. So let me just, for the sake of understanding it in a better way, so I'm going to be calling it glue client. So you don't mix it up with this glue and this glue, because this is the AWS service that I'm using. Had it been S3, I'd be using S3. Okay, so using this glue client, I'm gonna call in the start job run, and also I have to use the arguments. Okay, so the arguments is nothing but the parameters I'll be passing for the jobs. So, and this should be in a key value pair manner, meaning this should be additional. So the argument is input path, and the value would be the S3 path, right? That I'm trying to run. So I'm gonna put it over here. Okay. So this is it. That's all I have to do. That's all I have to do in order to trigger the glue job. So this once I create the glue client, so with the help of this glue client, I will call in the method start job run, and this start job run takes argument. I mean, one is the prime and the most important one. That is the job name. Obviously, I have to put the job name. Okay, I haven't put the correct job name because my job name is textbox test job, right? So this is a job that I have to trigger along with the argument. Argument is because my script is reading the input path from the command line argument that I'm passing in. So it is the input path, and as I said, right, for Glue jobs, the argument should be appended with double hyphen always. Otherwise, Glue won't be able to understand whether this is the Glue job argument or not. Okay, and obviously the value from the path that I'll be reading in. So this is pretty much it. Now what I have to do is I have to automate it using S3 trigger. So what I'm trying to do is there, so suppose this path is empty, and whenever this file or any ORC file that comes into this path, then the glue trigger should automatically get triggered. Okay, so that's something I want. So that's something I want. Uh, how the lambda trigger should automate the glue job run. Okay, so let me first do one thing. I will delete this file. I already have this in my local, and then I will upload it over here. And as soon as I upload, you'll see the lambda is getting triggered, and my glue job is also starts running, right? So let me just go over here. I have to also make sure that no other event-based triggers are here. Otherwise, I have to delete that and create a new one. So there's one event notification. Let me just delete this one. For your case, whenever for the first time, if you're trying to create an event-based trigger, in that case, you won't have any existing triggers, right? Okay, so the population data ORC. So this is not what I think. Whenever the files are deleted from a folder, the folder automatically gets deleted. So let me create a trigger over here. Source should be S3, and bucket is the dummy bucket X. I will just try to for put and post any files that are being put or posted into this bucket, specifically into this path, EV population ORC. So if the key or the folder name starts with this, then only the trigger will be passed. Meaning inside the bucket, dummy bucket X, there could be different other folders, right? So if I put or post or upload any folder over there, in that case, the lambda won't get triggered. The lambda will only get triggered whenever it is the file comes inside this path. And also, I just want to make sure that I want to read in only the ORC file, because my script over here also I have mentioned that the format is ORC. So any other file format coming in is not really my headache, or Lambda shouldn't really uh, consider that as an event. Okay, so that's all. I'm gonna add this one, and I will also deploy this code. Successfully updated. So I won't test it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add the files over here, and I will check if the lambda is getting triggered automatically. So what I have to do is just upload, add a folder. All right, so folder isn't here, right? So let me do one thing. I have this file. Let me just change this one. EV population data ORC. Yes, this is the one. And let me take a look at the configuration, triggers, details. It is EV population ORC. Let me see if I can edit this one, because in my folder it is EV population. The population data was right. So I'll save this one. Deploy. So now let me upload the folder. Alright, so the file has been uploaded. Now let me check the AWS Lambda function. So it should be triggered. Let me check the glue job now. Not sure if it is running. Okay, so there is a typo in my code. It should not be like with a small a arguments, it should be with the capital A. Right. So I will deploy again. Let me test this time. So I see the status code is 200, and this time the blue job should get triggered. Yes, now it is running. Again, it's gonna take some time to complete the job. Yeah, so my job is completed, but unfortunately it failed. I'm trying to understand why it failed. So let me just go over to the details and check the error logs. Nothing important here. Let me go to the output logs. Data frame constructor, we do not directly use it. Python traceback. Model year DS nothing. Column model year does not exist. Determining the following. So the model year does not exist. It's not able to understand the model year. Why is not able to model year? Determining of the following. Missing columns. All right. Let me look at the code again. Right. Okay, I think got it. Because now my bucket name has been changed, right? Sorry, the folder name is small EV population at ORC, but over there in the Lambda function, I'm putting that as the capital EV. So there's a typo over here as well. So I'm gonna amend this one. Let me just click on the bucket. I mean, it's sometimes useful for us whenever if a job fails, and every time if I try to run a job, it goes smooth. It means that I'm having no issue. But sometimes we should encounter some issues in order to understand that these are the areas that we should improve, or these are the functionalities that we probably need to improve. Okay, so now I have updated my Lambda function. I will deploy the code and I will taste it, but not this way I will test it. I will simply delete this folder and now I'm going to upload the same folder over here. Yep. So it is uploaded. The Lambda should do its job. Let me see if there's any run going on. Yes. You see, as soon as I upload the file uh, with the S3 EventBridge trigger, the Lambda starts the glue job. Now my glue job is running. So again, it's gonna take some time. I have to just wait for the job to complete. So my job is finally completed and it has succeeded. So there was a typo with the path name. That's the reason it failed last time. I'm going to see the log again just to make sure that everything looks good. I can see the output from there, so I will just click on the output logs, and again from the CloudWatch, click on the log stream, and there it is. It's the same output, right? We were seeing the 2024 models with the Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, and whatnot, and also the electric range is greater than 30 as it's already defined in script. So that's all from this session. I mean, as usual, as always, I will always recommend you to delete everything. I mean, just stop all the services that you've been working with. For example, this Lambda function. So I'm done with this Lambda trigger. I just want to show you how it works. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here, click on the function, and then delete, because it's your own account, right? And if you're running anything, or testing with any services, and if you somehow forget to turn it off or terminate, in that case it will keep on billing, and at the end of the month you'll see a huge bill on your name. So make sure that you terminate everything that's running on your name or on your account. So I'm gonna also delete this one. I don't need this one. And S3 bucket data, whatever it is, I will just keep as it is, nothing else. So that's all from this session. If you need more help, if you need more clarity on our course, just reach out to us, reach out to TechSpark. We will help you with the course. We will elaborate all the services and the text on the tools that we cover. We cover mostly all the data engineering aspects like Spark, Hive, AWS, Hadoop, also the real-time data streaming like Kafka as well. So just reach out to us in order to get any more queries or concerns regarding the course. I'm going to sign off from this session today. See you on the next one. Bye bye.
Contact us for the free job assistance. We will help you to get the IT job. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel for more regular updates from TechSpark.